But I just want to say, Cory, I listened to this obviously early. You sent it to me early.
Yeah.
And I took like a month to listen to it because I wanted to sit down with good headphones and listen and enjoy it. And enjoy it I did. But you know what? When I listened to it at midnight on Thursday going into Friday,
Yeah.
it was something about it was like had that extra sparkle than even more than before, where I was just like,
nice.
oh my God, listen, like the intro track, What If, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like, this is so good.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And like any of the songs where I was like, okay, cool. I feel like once I listened to them the second time, I was like, okay, wait, now it's a hit for me. Like, they're all hits. So I'm really
Yay,
excited
that's
to
so
listen
awesome.
through.
Yes, we're gonna go. I was about to say like tit by tit, but we're going bit by bit through
We're all messed
each
up.
song. I'm gonna be talking through the songs probably. So if you haven't heard it, I apologize that I'm going to be like ruining it with my speaking voice, but giving everyone kind of ideas about what the songs were inspired by, and also just like going into the little details that you may not know. And in fact, some of the stuff I've never talked about before. And some of these songs have been out since like 2019, and I've just never revealed it in the press that I've done, mainly because nobody asked, but also because I wanted to save something for this moment so that I could, show people some of the interesting stuff that is behind it. There's a lot of thought put into this, as surprising as that may seem. I was meticulous about it. So in terms of the way that it flows, in terms of the everything, there's like a lot of symbolism. It's a lot of stuff. So I'm excited to share.
Yeah, you've given me just like a couple of things. Like, you were like, you won't believe how much there is of just like the intro to this, like this sound for this song, this. So I'm like, okay, let's go. Also, I wasn't ignoring you. I was just retweeting your tweet. So
I don't know. It's okay. I saw that. I just turned my phone on mute because that's annoying.
Just so many notifications. Can't keep up. Okay, so should we get started?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's play What If.
Yeah. So, What If is the first track on the album. When we were making it.
Wait, should I play it now, or do you want to say this beforehand?
Yeah, you can just play it and we'll talk over it. Who cares?
Okay. We ain't got all night.
No. Oh shoot! I won't be able to hear it.
That's okay. I'm playing it.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you mean. Or I can do a countdown like we do on Quarantine.
Yeah, why don't we do that just so that I can play it on my...
You get double the streams
computer,
too.
I guess.
Everyone else can stream along with us too, and just make the volume really low so that you
we'll
hear
see
us.
If this works.
Feel free. Give Cory some extra streams.
We'll see if this works.
What if we also just text Kevin to call the place if he can?
Yeah, I mean, he should really... You know what's interesting is Tovah's favorite meal was sushi, and you were the one who suggested this. So I was like, I didn't even tell you, but like I was kind of shocked because I mean, I guess a lot of people like sushi, but I didn't really tell anyone, I guess, the context of why it's called Tov. So for those who don't know, Tovah, I knew her as Tovah Berry, and then she got married last year and became Tovah Natalie. Tovah was a very close friend of mine. Hi, Julie, who unfortunately found out that she got stomach cancer in January of last year, right before the pandemic. And it was stage 4 stomach cancer. So Tovah ended up having to basically stay in the hospital. And unfortunately, she had just gotten married. She had just bought a new home, and she just had a new baby. So she was in the hospital from January through until she eventually died in April. And I think the last time I got to see her was when I got back from Florida in February. And then they started to stop allowing people to go into the hospital. So, but I would obviously be able to FaceTime and stuff. So in any case, I thought to myself, with this album, there are a million things I could name it, but I don't know that one of them I'm going to end up loving 10 years down the line. And I knew for sure that if I name this Tov, I would love it forever. And also, I'd be able to remember her forever whenever I reference this again. And the great thing is that Tov actually means good in Hebrew.
Shana Tov.
So I'm kind of influencing people by subliminally telling them that it's good even before they listen to it. So, I'm
Love
sneaky
it.
like that.
Well, let's go with it. I'm going to play What If.
So this is part 1, which is the betrayal act of the soundtrack, basically.
Soundtrack to your life.
The album. And you count me down and then I'll go.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this song was inspired by Die Another Day, which is
the James Bond movie?
No, the song by Madonna.
Oh.
The movie's rotten. Madonna's in the movie, though, and I recommend watching it for that part alone. But the 303s underneath are what you hear in the Die Another Day song. But also, I wanted to start the album with sort of a statement about me having self-doubt in terms of putting together a full album and also not knowing if I had the capability to do it and if I could. So it's like, what if it's not my destiny? What if it's not good enough for me? I hate when singers quote their lyrics. It's so cheesy, but I'm gonna do it today. So suck it up, Buttercup. And yeah, we wanted to also highly like auto-tune it, stylize it, almost make it like a hyper pop start kind of thing. And it builds. It's like one of those like really impactful tracks that sort of like gets you excited. And I also wanted a track that like when I go on stage eventually, when the world comes back to normal, I'll have something to play while I'm getting ready to go on stage that'll pump people up. And I think this song accomplishes that.
Very much. Like, I think it's also funny because I brought this up to you, but there was a time you were like talking about a song and you were like, it's just the same words the whole time. And I hate that type of thing. And I'm like, wait, but Cory, What If is the same thing and it's so good. Like, you did it so well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite tracks on the album, even though it's just an intro track. Mm-hmm. But it just gets me pumped up and excited. Like whenever I'm getting ready for something, I'll put it on. Or like if I'm starting to exercise, that's a good way for me to get pumped up. It's funny. I usually get sick of my songs after a certain amount of time, as I'm sure you know too, Kisos. It's like once you
I get sick of your songs too.
Yeah, of course. Once you put them together for, however many months you're working on them, it can be annoying to have to keep going back to them afterwards. But that's one that I still love. Yeah. So that's basically the story of What If.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love, like you said, it's so punchy. It's so strong. I don't think a lot of people would expect that to be like the first track from you to start off the album. Well, so I think it really makes a statement.
Unexpected, as we have seen in many of our streams together. Today, I feel like it's going to be a little more serious, which I don't know if people are used to, but...
I think they're into the music. They want to know what the music. They don't need us to be clowns all the time.
All right.
So, just a little bit of clown. You weren't not expecting that track to open the album. Was that a typo or was that true? Like it wasn't like completely out of left field, like, but it was like, it wasn't like, what? Oh, okay. I see.
Oh, okay. So you weren't expecting, actually.
You weren't expecting, no.
Zach Benson, I sent him the album early too, and he was such a sweetheart. He gave me like track by track analysis and was so kind. He said to me too that I just didn't expect that as your opener because of everything else that I've heard. And I love that. Like, that's the way I always want to be. The album has a bunch of interstitials in it too. And we'll get to those obviously. But I wanted to do that because I've always wanted to after seeing the Janet Jackson Velvet Rope album. It was amazing and it had all those interstitials. But I will never do interstitials again because I've done them. And now they are old to me after this.
Or is it because the Metro Weekly, that was the only thing that they said that was slightly negative?
Listen, we're not going to get into details here. I know, but I also just don't like repeating myself. I find that too many artists will, and this is not a dig, it's just too many artists will release different versions of the same thing all the time. And I find that boring for me. I always want to try and be doing something different, right? So anyway. Oh, did your sushi come?
It came, baby.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin.
He already left. He's still on the phone.
Kevin, I don't know. It's just the hands.
Kevin said, "Here's your food. I'm busy. Bye." I was going to say something.
I should get mine.
Yeah, go get yours. I'll talk to everyone. I was gonna say what Cory said makes a lot of sense with just like not wanting to do the same thing, because I felt very much that about like he didn't want me in Happily Ever After. Like now that I've done breakup songs and now that I've done 2 music videos inside an apartment, I'm like, okay, what's next? I will never do that again. So that's why I'm like, I'm not against quarantine videos for other people, but I don't want to do one myself. Huh?
What are these streams called? Mukbangs?
Mukbang,
like
yeah.
Mukbanging with Tove?
Yes. We'll have to.
So yeah, for those who have joined, Tovah's favorite food is actually sushi, and Kisos suggested it before I even said anything. So we are on brand.
I was just about to text you. Ooh, you're so smart. You're so smart. Oh my god, what an amazing boyfriend. He's only doing this because Cory paid. He just brought me like the sauce.
Oh.
Ooh, child.
What kind of sushi did you get?
I actually just got a bento box. I got a salmon bento box, but then it came with like a little California roll, and then Kevin got the same thing, and then we got a Philadelphia roll because we love cream cheese.
Well, you see, I am from a small town in Canada of 30,000 people, where when I grew up, you couldn't even get sushi anywhere.
Oh.
So the only thing that I will put in my gullet is California roll. So
yeah, that's the only thing you trust.
Because I really do prefer Cheese Whiz on toast to anything else, because I'm trailer trash. All right.
If it's good, it's good. Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, let me get one ready and we can put it in our mouths at the same time and then chew so that I can talk
that
afterwards.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, I know. We're 69ing with food. All right. One sec.
Itadakimasu. Cheers. Prost.
Okay, put it in your mouth.
I did.
Oh, I did. Sorry, I'm pushy that way. All right.
Oh my god.
Let's move along.
Shall we? Next up is Poison.
We'll be here all night.
This one's been out for a while.
It has. It came out in 2019. Count me down when you're ready.
3, 2,
Yep.
1, go. And let me know about the sound again, y'all. I tried to put it in the middle.
So with Poison, it starts out with this creepy clock, and it is about to chime 3 times. The 3 signifies the time I was born, which was 3 a.m. And actually,
Drop Dead.
This whole album is sort of in 3s. So you look at the fact that there's 3 different acts, and also that the name Tove has 3 letters, which you brought up to me, Kisos, and then I was like, oh, I'm running with that. So yeah, this song is actually about a friend who I've had for a long time, that we've had ups and downs, and we've been good and we've been horrible. This was in a horrible period where I was really pissed at him, and
does he know that?
Oh yeah, he knows all about it. He loves the song.
Okay.
So the funny thing is that his ex-boyfriend that I knew they were a bit tumultuous. I asked his ex-boyfriend to rap on the track, so that is who Middle Child is.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. So the song is vicious. Of course, it's exaggerated because I tend to exaggerate my sentiments in songs because they're not interesting if you don't go a little bit further with your emotion.
It's true.
But it's also playful, and I think, you know, just kidding, Drop Dead, that sort of stuff, it's all very cheeky.
It's like, serious, but with a little like tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Yeah, and you also, like, you have certain friends in your life that, you know, you go through these periods or you get in, like, you know, arguments, and you can be a little bit of an asshole to them, and you know that it's gonna be okay.
You know they'll take it. They're a little bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this song I sent him before, and I'm like, hey, this is all about you. Enjoy it. And he's like, actually, it's really good. I love it. But, you know, it is what it is.
Is this the one? Is this the song that came out first?
Yes.
This is the first one from the album.
The lead single from the album.
Yes, and when you were making this, like, were you already planning an album, or were you just kind of making songs and seeing what would happen?
Yeah, so we recorded this in 2018, around the time that I opened for Boy George, actually. And I was just starting to write music for the album because I knew that I wanted to make a follow-up to 7 Different Sides, which was my first EP. I didn't have an idea of where I wanted to go with it or anything. And I wrote this not really thinking anything of it, and Gavin, my producer, who's basically infused into every single one of these tracks, I sent him like a quick demo of it, and he was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and we started working on it right away. And I think I may have recorded this around the summer of 2018 and released it in March of 2019.
Okay, that's funny because I think I knew that, but I forgot. But it's very much like Happily Ever After energy, and I think that's, you know, it's kind of both of our first breakout moments in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's my most streamed song, as Happily Ever After is your most streamed song.
Yeah.
So yeah, people really responded to it, and I was super happy. The Spotify algorithm worked for once with this one.
Yeah.
So you know, I was happy to have it.
Better one than none.
It lasted. But, you know.
Should I just keep it playing? Should I pause it? Anything you want to say about Out of My Head before we start it?
No, we can just go with it.
Okay,
just
let's. Well, I already paused it, so let's do it again. 3, 2, 1, go.
So with Out of My Head, I wrote this song about an ex that I had when I was 18 and I just moved to the city.
Literally,
and, I was dating him, and he would put me down constantly. He would tell me that I was going to age horribly, that
quick side note. This is that guy that you recently reconnected with too, right?
Yeah, well, I
or
sent
reconnect
him a message.
You sent a message.
Yeah, basically telling him he's an asshole. But there got to a point where he was lying to me. He was sleeping around. There were a lot of things happening. He would go out at night and party and then come back to my place. He didn't live in the city, so he would stay with me and use my place as like a place to come after he was coming down off of E, and like sleep in my bed and then leave in the morning and not spend any time with me. But I was like 18. I had no idea.
You were just like, oh, it's nice. He wants to spend time with me. He's doing his own thing, and then he comes and hangs out with me.
And at 18, you don't really realize. And then there was one final straw where I just got so pissed off and took all of his stuff, including like this really expensive ring that he loved, and threw it all out on the street. Woo! And threw the ring in particular without any protection right onto the fucking road. And he threw a punch, which was nice. And then that was it. He was out of my life and out of my head.
Wow.
But the funny thing about Out of My Head is that it's basically singing about how you're out of my head, but really, if I'm writing a song about you, are you out of my head?
That's very important.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people go through that where they're like, yes, I'm done.
I'm so over it. Yeah. He didn't want me. I've accepted it 3 years later.
Well, it's not even 3 years later. It's it may be even a decade later. Well, more than a decade. But I think there's certain wounds that you create when you're, you know, young, that stick with you. Like your first relationship, you always remember. And if you end up with a shitty one, then unfortunately that creates trust issues and a lot of other things for every other relationship that follows. Right? Which is
Tara, thank you so much for the follow. Sorry for interrupting, Cory. Continue.
No. And that's why this song is under the betrayal section of the album, because it was betrayal.
Makes sense. When you were, I'm assuming you weren't like, you didn't have these 3 kind of like, I'll call them pillars, I guess, because I can't think of a better word. You didn't like necessarily go in with like there's these 3 pillars I have, and I'm gonna write songs for each of them. It was more like, no, these fit into things, and you figured them out later.
Yeah, everything was made organically. I was simply just writing stuff. There was no intention at the beginning of this album to say, okay, I'm going to pair it into these sections and all of that. It literally just sort of transformed into that after I got all of these songs together. Because keep in mind, this material spans from writing from 2016 to 2020.
Yeah.
So like it's all different stages, and somehow they just piece together in the proper way.
Right.
So we can go to End of Me now. I don't know if Michelle is still here, but Michelle
Let's do it. I think she had to leave because she only had like 10 minutes. But this is
Well, she works in the evening, so I know that was sweet of her too.
Yeah, to even drop in for a little. This is my favorite song. I'm also a Michelle stan.
I love Michelle.
But this is my favorite song. I remember hearing it.
Count Me Down, or have you started already?
No, I didn't start it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to say this before real quick. So
Hi, Raya. Oh, Tovah's sister's here.
Hi, Raya. How are you?
Raya, we're eating sushi to celebrate Tovah. And we're just going through the album right now. But thank you for coming. I'm so happy you're here.
I was just going to say, before we start this one, yes, this is my favorite. You sent it to me a while ago. And then I forgot that this was the one that I really loved. And then you sent me... And then I started, for some reason, thinking that Little Lies was the one I really loved, even though I really like it. But End of Me is like... For me, this is like your best song, hands down, by a mile. And again, I already like your music. Like, I already love your music. So it was like, this is just like a career defining, like iconic track. Amazing. Anyway, let's play it.
Can't get my hair right.
I'm rambling.
Let's
anyway,
play
3, 2, 1, go.
So with this one,
it's just so good.
What I loved about it was we started with that loop, that whoa, 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 whoa. And I don't know, would you classify that as R&B, or what would you classify that as? That sound. I mean, it's kind of. It has like...
I would say it's funky.
Yeah, I almost feel like it belongs with a rapper, to be honest. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to take it and sort of make it into this dance track. This song was so difficult to write because I don't think it follows traditional formula, in the sense that it's not, you know, completely followable. It takes different turns. And it took a long time to produce because we went through so many different beats, so many different versions, and then finally landed on something. And then I asked Michelle to do the vocals, and you know what? This was not really something I was loving. In fact, this may not have even gone on the album.
It's always those tracks, right?
But Michelle gave me her vocals for it, and then all of a sudden it came to life for me, and I loved it. So, yeah, I was really thankful. And obviously the subject of the song, this is still kind of in the same vein as the song prior, the Out of My Head. It's still singing about that one relationship and how, you know, loving you will be the end of me. I can't continue doing this because it's actually hurting me so much, and I'm still sticking in it. Right. So, yeah. I
just love like the tone of it, like it's so vulnerable, sultry. It's kind of like
sultry.
It's like kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's like inviting. It's like, I mean, I think in a good way that is it. Like it's such a powerful feeling that I'm trying to describe, but it's something that like you don't really have words for.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think
you continue while I try to think of how to say what I'm trying to say.
No. I think
it shows. Here, let me interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go. Take it.
I think it shows like you're kind of portraying the seduction of the thing, person, whatever that's ending you, but in your own voice. Like you're kind of doing that like siren call of like seducing them, bringing them in, and then cutting off their head, you know? But it's what's happening to you.
Yeah, and coincidentally, that's what I do in all my relationships. I
Black Widow, baby.
And then they get to know me. No, I don't Army Hammy my exes, or Army Hammer. I heard someone make a joke.
Oh, that's right. I forgot what he did. He wanted to eat people.
Is it Army Hammer or Arm Me Hungry? So dumb. Thank you, Tina. You know what's weird is, I think this song in particular, I went in to record it after like a very hard night, and my vocals were not great, but for some reason when I was singing in that upper register, it seemed to, there's almost a little rasp to it, so it kind of worked. So what did you
And then we have our first interstitial here.
We have our first interstitial,
which I'm already playing, by the way.
Okay, well, I'll just play it. So essentially, one of my really good friends went through a 2-year horrible relationship. Oh, this is also the start of the second part of the second act of the album, which is
Right.
Heartbreak. So, my friend was in a really tumultuous situation. She was in a bad relationship. He would lie to her. He was cheating on his wife with her. It was a whole thing. It was like wild.
Whoa.
And it got really bad to the point where he was stalking her. Like, she would go to work and he would be outside in his car watching her from his car. He would follow her if she would ever go out with friends. We would go out, Kisos, to like a bar, and we would be coming out, getting our coats, and she would see his car off in the distance. Like, he was so psycho, and it was terrifying. So that leads us into the next song, which I don't know. Have you played it, or are you about to? Okay, well, we can start the next song.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
So the next song is called Happiness and Heartache. And basically, it's her story with a few different things that aren't exactly accurate in terms of like her age and 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
But it just fit with the song. So basically, this song in the initial stages was going to be called Happiness in Bottles, and be about seeking happiness through drinking. And then my friend who went through this, finally made the push to just cut him off and say, no, this isn't going to happen anymore.
Get out.
Getting rid of him, and I'm not allowing him to be this person in my life anymore. And I was going into the studio literally about a half an hour after I found out that she'd made this decision. And I wrote all of these lyrics on the subway on my way to the studio. And when I got to the studio, we had the full song and the concept and everything in terms, because I already had the melodies. I already had a full song written in terms of the lyrics and everything.
Right.
And then just diverted the second that this came, because it's like, this is actually something I connect to more. And yeah, we had fun with it. You'll hear a champagne bottle popping throughout some of the song.
I love the part like after I guess it's after the chorus, the post-chorus of just like the piano. It's so beautiful instrumentally and different, and breaks it up a little bit, and also makes it, I guess, a little more serious in terms of like musicality, because otherwise it's kind of just like dancey, whatever. So I think that adds like some weight and depth to it.
Well, I wanted it to represent that piano. I wanted the piano to represent the chaos of her relationship, and that piano does have a chaotic nature to it in terms of like it's staccato, but also
syncopated,
like hard hit on the keys. You know, like it's very intense. So I wanted to make sure that that sort of was conveyed in some way. I want to read what Tina said, because I kind of missed it. I had an ex like that. He was the one who recently texted me to apologize to Tina. Yeah, too little too late, right, Tina? Like, what a pain in the ass. And then she says, luckily, we got things figured out after 3 months of stalkerish behavior, but it was intense at first. And we managed to become friends later, so the apology was weird and very unexpected. Well, I mean, at least he's made it up to you.
That's very interesting, yeah.
And yeah, like, I mean, at least I think there's something healing in that, in terms of like getting that
catharsis, closure.
Yeah, like that sense of closure. And maybe that's, if I had gotten those things, some of these songs wouldn't exist. So it's good I haven't had closure on something. But yeah,
I love the beat switch up here too, you know, where it like gets like really into the like, I don't know what the word is, but that different groove.
It's kind of dubsteppy at one point. Yeah.
This is one that grew on me a lot, because when I listened the first time I was like, okay, but I think I kind of just saw it as like a 90s feel pop song, whatever.
Right.
But then the second time I was like it's one of my favorites on the album. Like top 3, top 4. Love it.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I really like it too. I think that might be my mom's favorite, other than No More Trips to London, which is coming up. She just really connected to that song. I actually remember when it was written, we had gone to Florida right after, and I had brought some demos with me, and I got to play them for her, and she was really loving them. But anyway,
that's awesome.
Hi, Jay Gregory. Thank you for stopping by and lurking. We can move into the next one.
Okay. And Tina said, "Sorry, this is a little spicy, so it's making my saliva glands act up. So I'm like have
That's
a bubble
beautiful.
in my throat." I was just gonna read what Tina said. Recent anger management revealed that he never apologized for his behavior. Then, and song related, this one gets stuck in my head. I mean, that makes sense too. Like you kind of have a breakthrough, and then you're like, "Oh, let me go fix this thing," even if it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, that one gets stuck in my head a ton. Okay, Little Lies in 3.
Little Lies.
2.
I'm just keeping this clip in. Maybe not. I can't stop looking at my hair. I'm going nuts.
It's fine.
Okay.
3.
Little Lies.
2. 1. Go. Don't worry, I'm very ugly. You'll always look better.
Oh, shut up. So this song, as you know, Kisos, but some may not know, was a song that Zach Benson and I wrote in 2020 at the start of the pandemic. I remember messaging him on Twitter and just like DMing him, I guess, and saying like, "Hey, would you work with me? I really want to write a song with you." And he was like, "Sure, I would love to." So I think we had a course of about 3 different FaceTime sessions where the first one was kind of just getting to acquainted with each other, right? And I remember this was in the period where people were like banging their pots and pans at 7 o'clock every night. So we would be talking, and then as soon as that would happen, I would take him out so he could see all the people on my, because he was in Virginia, I think, with his family at the time, so he didn't really experience that as much as he would have if he was in New York at the time.
That's so cute.
But we got talking about TV shows, and he really loved Big Little Lies, which I still have not seen.
How did you two originally meet? I don't remember. Was it through like quarantine stuff or just like music, meeting each other? Social media, I mean.
Dougie was really in love with him, understandably, and then I saw that and I was like, well, if Dougie loves him, I've got to check him out. So then I looked further and loved what I was hearing, and then went from there. But no, so we started talking about Big Little Lies, and then got talking also about like just, you know, right now during this time, wouldn't it just be lovely if people would just tell us lies rather than the truth? Because honestly, it's a lot, you know? And I think all of us went through that sort of trauma in the beginning where it was like, oh my God, this is real, this is happening, we're gonna be living in this. Some people knew that it was going to go long. I personally did.
Yeah.
I don't know why I take pride in that, but I do.
I knew we were going to be doomed and that our government sucks ass.
You know what? I keep bringing up Florida, I'm sorry. But when I was in Florida in February before this happened, my parents, well, my dad was like, oh, it's all like a hoax. It's just like something like that.
Oh, no.
This is serious. It's gonna be horrible. Like, he laughed at me for bringing hand sanitizer on the plane. He's like, you watch. But anyway, I don't know why I get pleasure out of knowing I was right about the pandemic.
I do
but
too.
I do.
Well, not necessarily that, but a lot of things. Just like...
Yeah. So then we started writing this song and applied it to relationships, and just like how when you get stuck in a relationship, you want people to lie to you, or when you know it's about to end, you almost don't want to accept that it's about to end, so you'd rather just have the person lie to you. Or if they're trying to break up with you, for example, you try to convince them not to. I've done that a million times, but I mean, enough about me. Kisos, how many times have you done that?
I've actually been the opposite, where someone's trying to convince me, and then I have to break up with them a second or third time. And in my relationship, that's terrible. So after that, I learned my lesson.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because you give the person hope that like it can be salvaged because you continue on with it, right? And that sort of brings us magically into the next song. I'm just going to shove something in my gullet and then we can go in.
Yeah, do it. In my last relationship, I was not the one doing the breaking up, but I didn't really like, I was just kind of like, I knew it was coming and I just steeled myself to it. Like, he wouldn't even pull the trigger.
Really?
He was like, yeah. He was like, hey, we need to talk. And I was like, well, we need to break up. And he was like, oh, well. And I'm just like, okay, then let's break up.
Say it.
And then I had to rip the own, I had to do it.
You had to rip the Band-Aid. You had to break up with yourself, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's why it hit me so hard, but also why I relate to a lot of these songs.
Yeah, well, that's tough because, like, did he ever actually say, listen, we need to end this? Or was it you who said it?
It was me, and he was like, well, I know this isn't working, but also I don't see myself with anyone but you. And that line just rang through my head for like years. Like, wait, but you don't see yourself with anyone but me. So like, why aren't you making it work? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that?
It's a manipulation
But I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah, we're all
over it.
This is like a wounded soul stream today. Hey guys, my name's Cory, and
everybody
I'm a
bring your
soul.
baggage. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the next one. Count me down.
Do you in 3, 2, 1.
So this is my favorite song on the entire album, besides Little One, because Little One is obviously very special to me. Gavin and I, this is the one that we most collaborated on. I think the split was 60-40, with me being 60, he being 40. We really worked together collaboratively in the heaviest way on this song.
And this one came out like right when the pandemic started.
It was right in the beginning of the pandemic. It was, I think, when was it? It was like April something.
Or like when people started shutting down, I think.
It was March. It was the beginning of March. It was right when things were shutting down. So, I just loved the sort of Kylie Minogue of it all, and the almost ABBA in a way. Like you'll hear the strings in some parts where it's like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And there's also this like Wizard of Oz vibe in one part where it's like down da-da-da-down da-da-da-da-down. You'll hear it in a sec, or if you haven't already.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, exactly. It just reminds me of like when the Wicked Witch would go, or like when that tornado happened and pulled up the house, and they. Yeah. So this song, admittedly, is not about anyone or anything in my personal life. But there were fun parts that I was able to like picture myself in a certain scenario, I guess. So that line, cheers to your mental health, have a drink on me, that obviously was my writing, because who else would say that? Cheeky shit. Yeah. But it was meant to be cheeky. It was meant to be fun. And I know Tina said this is my favorite song, Cory's. It's like one of my favorite too. I've got to be honest. I just think that it's a lot of fun.
I think it's really well done, and it has like elements of different genres without trying to be like, it's not trying to be a disco track, but the parts of disco that it has are like really well done. Like everything is really well done and segmented, but it still feels like you versus like you're trying to fit a certain sound mold.
Yeah, I think that's important, because I think a lot of people,
especially because disco is very hot right now.
Yeah, well, I won't lie and say that wasn't part of it. I think Don't Start Now came out by Dua Lipa before I started writing that. So that definitely influenced, but I think it's important to not like sit down and be like, okay, we're gonna write a disco track today. Because I find that just ends up with something too contrived and cliche and boring, right? Like, you have to just do what comes. And it came, and I love that song. Like, that's it. What are you laughing
Do what
at?
comes, and it came, girl. You know me.
Yeah, it sure did. Came all over.
Okay.
All right, Jesse.
Anyways, up next.
I
think this was the first song I heard of yours.
Is it?
I think so. It was either this or Poison, but I can't remember.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh.
All right, so this song is called Anyway, and it is about my most recent relationship, where I actually lived in the apartment I'm still in with this person. We were together for 3 years. I don't want to be too mean, because he's a very nice kid. I take kid.
That's how I feel with my ex too. I'm like, he's not a bad person, but
no. We were not a fit, but I kept him around because he was good for me. Meaning, he grounded me, he made me calmer and like kind of softened my edges, and that was good for me, particularly because I was just starting my business at the time that we met. So
wait, when was this? 2017?
No, we met in 2000 and 2012, and then broke up in 2015, I think, or
Okay, that makes more sense because I was like, for some, I don't know why I thought 2017. I was like, you've only been doing your business for 3 years. Anyway, continue. 4 years.
No. I've been doing business for 8. But so he was a really good influence on me, and my parents loved him. Everyone loved him. His friends hated me, which was another thing. But anyway, soon after we broke up, well, I should tell the story of how we broke up. So I had just actually started writing a song. This was like in 2015, and I was in my office doing that, and then I came out, and he was like sort of. And by the end, he was a bit miserable. I'll be honest. I think I drove him nuts. I'm hard to date, and I'm not going to deny that I'm not. But he was just like stewing watching television, and I could tell that something was on his mind. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we should just break up. And it just came out of nowhere. And then I opened up the Juliet balcony and had a cigarette. And then it just sort of, obviously there were conversations after that and it ended. But anyway, 3 months after we broke up, there was a period, and I won't deny it, there was one moment about a month after we broke up where I tried to get him back. And I think the reasoning for that is simply because I hadn't been living on my own in 3 years.
Yeah, it's familiarity.
You know, and he wisely did not allow that to happen, as convincing as I can be and as much as I tend to push my way until I get what I want, which is a disgusting
I very much
trait.
relate with this whole story.
Okay, so then I discovered that he was dating someone else, and then 2 or 3 months later, I found out that he was engaged. And then after that, it was another maybe 4 or 5 months, and he was married.
Wow.
And they are still married, which happy for them. And if anyone's interested in seeing them, they are both together on Grindr. So you can find them as a couple on Grindr anytime you want.
Toronto Grinder.
During the pandemic, too, so... You know
It
what?
ain't that desperate. Like, most people don't have
Yeah.
anyone.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Leave her out of this. I don't think she wants to be a part of that conversation.
No. I think Tovah, when she knew he wasn't for me too. She would often be like, Cory, you know, he's wonderful and so nice, but you're too much for him. And it's true. I was too much for him. I'm a lot of drama. I really am.
What was, do you know, like, what Toad's favorite song was?
Of mine?
Yeah.
I don't know that she heard a lot of them, to be honest. I don't know if you find this, but with your close friends, at least most of mine don't listen to my stuff that often.
Mine will, like, listen once, but the only one they ever shared was Happily Ever After. And not even in, like, a negative way, but...
No, I think that it's just kind of like, that's not what our Rush.
Totally like it is.
Yeah, so Tove would listen to stuff, and she, of course, like, she never crushed me, but at the same time, she was always like, okay, Cory, your music, sure. How's your PR business? You know, she's very much in reality, which I think is just something that Tove is, and she writes, Raya's saying Tove was a tough critic. It's true. But I would get her dancing. I can remember one time with Tove, so funny. I was singing in an apartment. This was like when we were in college, and I was like singing and dancing along to a song, and she was just sitting watching me do it because I often made her be my audience. And she said to me, you know what, Cory? I think I get it with you. Like, why people would be attracted to you. And I was like, oh my God. So, but it's like, there were moments like that where it was like so funny because it's so classic Tovah. I have a video actually of Tovah that I emailed you that we'll show before we play Little One.
Okay.
It's just like a little thing of her talking about us a little bit. I think you've already seen it, Raya, but you know, I thought, why not? We'll just give her a little center stage. But yeah, so I don't know what Tovah's favorite is, but I'm guessing it would be Little One at this stage. And I'll get into more about that.
That makes sense. I'm just pulling out my email so I have it for later. Hee hee.
The next one features yours truly.
It's true. Is everyone ready to hear me sing. Wait, what's the 2 minutes one? Sorry, I'm just looking at your email now. There's one that says 2 minutes and one says after.
It starts at 2 minutes. It starts at 2 minutes.
Okay, well, you'll let me know. Okay, everyone. This is Cut Those Hose Off.
Hose off.
In 3, 2, 1, go. This is a long interstitial. Thank you for making me the best one.
Well, I made this one after we did our release party for Grab the Fire and used audio from it. And I just thought it was funny because Jxckson is so positive and nice.
Yeah.
And through it all, I'm like listening to the clips and I'm like, I hate people. Just totally miserable and awful. And I just made me laugh so much. And then you interjecting and trying to make me sound better by being like, yeah, you know, sometimes you just need to feel that emotion. So
it's
that
true,
you
though.
Can, you know, get to the more productive emotion. I'm like, this is so typical
Everyone
of me, like people trying to like, I don't know, it just stuck with me and it was very funny. So this is also the start of the final act, which is survival, and that'll be evident soon in the track. If it hasn't already played, I can't hear it really.
I actually had like a really strong reaction to this track for no important reason, but basically when you and me were talking about like had our first like little songwriting session, there's actually a beat I sent you that sounds just like this.
Oh really?
Yeah, like the exact same horns, like don't, and I was like, oh my god, that's so funny.
That's so strange. No, this is from the pack that made Grab the Fire.
Oh, that makes sense too, because I was like, this transitions really well and sounds like the same types of horns.
No. This is just another loop that we didn't use in Grab the Fire that I knew that I would use for an interstitial. And you'll notice that underneath, when hate is mentioned, those horns amplify a lot, and it sort of like matches up with the tone of what I'm talking about. Okay, Peter says, this interlude totally gave me arena vibes. You can totally hear the crowd screaming while Cory does an outfit change. Then we catch a glimpse of Jxckson and we all go wild. I love this act. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you, Peter. This is the act where undoubtedly I would have to change my Spanx because things are getting a little sweaty by this point. I need to pee really quick. I'm sorry to say.
That's totally fine. I'll say hi to Tosh and everyone else that's
say hi to peeps.
Partying over here. Hi everyone. What is everyone's favorite song? I already said mine is End of Me. I love my cameo and Cut Those Hoes Off. Which is funny. Here's a funny story. I thought that this came, apparently I say Cut Those Hoes Off a lot because there's a clip of me saying it in Quarantine that is in our like Quarantine teaser video, promo video, whatever. And then I thought he took Cut Those Hoes Off from that, but I say it totally different there. So I must have said it in this release show and in a Quarantine episode. And I'm like, how often do I say this? How often do I say this? Literally, Tosh, I'm gonna cry when that one comes on. Once Kevin, oh my God, why am I saying Kevin? Once Cory tells the story, we're all gonna cry.
Oh,
we're gonna cry
back.
Welcome back. Okay, Grab the Fire. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go into Grab the Fire.
3,
let me know.
2, 1, go. So I heard the difference I heard was some electric guitar, but I'm sure there was more in there that I missed too. That's it?
Difference. Yeah.
Well, I exposed it. Honestly though, I love it. I love electric guitar. What made you change the versions?
I just wanted it to be a little more rockier for the album. I felt that when I listened through to the entire thing, Grab the Fire almost didn't have that edge that particularly needed to happen in this stage of the album.
To kick off this stage of the album too.
Yeah, and also just to like, after Anyway, it's kind of like a downer. I wanted something that would just like grab you, literally. So the electric guitar is actually the same electric guitar that's used in Poison. So it kind of ties together there as well.
Okay, that's cool.
But I wanted to just like have something that stood out again and re-engage people, because I thought it was important. After you've sat through 10 tracks already, I wanted to make sure people wouldn't, you know, leave me.
Right.
Like all of my exes did.
Right.
So, yeah. And obviously we've talked on it and about this song, but I think Jxckson is so talented and amazing in this track.
Yeah.
Oh, and P.S. Jxckson sent me 2 new songs last night. They're amazing. They're so good.
I'm gonna have to fight him.
Well, I told him to send them to you because he's deciding on his lead single, and I have my vote, and I'm like, I want to know what Kisos would pick.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna be aligned.
I hope so. But yeah, I think a lot of people said this too about like Jxckson on this song. Like, he's never sounded better. He sounds so good on here, so in the pocket for a first collab. Like, this is such a good moment for him. And you.
Yeah. I know. Well, it's Jxckson's moment. That's fine.
Yeah, I think you really gave him a really cool moment, but obviously it reflects back on you because it makes the song that much better.
Well, there you go. No, I thought
I work in PR, everyone. Me and Cory just lie to each other, and that's how our relationship works.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's just one of those songs that I love so much, and I still dance to it. I think it's like a fired up song.
Yeah.
And I really do hope that we can arrange for something to happen with the Olympics or something around that. I seriously believe that it could be thrown into something there.
Yeah, any type of like sports games competition thing.
Totally. Like even a basketball game where they're all like hyping up before the players go, or even when they're playing.
Yeah.
I feel like basketball games are really like just entertainment anyway, rather than a sport. All right. So that's done.
Next interstitial is already playing. You're like, Mom.
So, basically what this is the last audio recording that I have of my grandma Slater and my poppy Slater, and they're talking in the background. You can hear my grandma's laugh. It was kind of the last thing that I was able to snatch, and I was looking through my old audio recordings and videos because I wanted to find something of them, and was able to find this. So, and also there's a Curtis shout out in it. So,
yeah, I love it. Curtis, no biting.
I mean, yeah. And also my aunt talks about she's not fixed, but he's fixed, and it just kind of made me laugh too. But it's just the sound of everyone laughing together in that, after like a little bickering between my parents as well. It's just so exactly what happens in a get together in our family. So it was kind of a nice way to so we can go on to the next one.
Yeah, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. That's all right, Tina. You didn't miss much. We just talked about how much we love Jxckson, and I lied to Cory. That's all.
So this is No More Trips to London, and it is about the loss of my grandmother. My mom actually sings backup tracks or backup vocals throughout the entire track.
I thought that was really cool element when you first released this.
Yeah, I was so, she afterwards was like, it really meant something to me that you would allow me to do this. And I was like, come on. She's always been a singer. She did theater and stuff. So it made sense. And it was also like, it's a tribute to your mom, you know? The reason it's called No More Trips to London is because my grandparents lived in London, Ontario, which is like 2 hours from Woodstock, or sorry, 2 hours from Toronto. And because both of them died, I thought to myself, well, I guess there's never going to be any trips to London again. There's no need to, so no more trips to London. Yeah, and some of the lyrics are really like, I remember like the first few times that I tried to sing this song, I couldn't because, and yes, Raya, me too. I'm gonna get into it. So, I couldn't sing it because the words just kind of like felt really authentically to what I was feeling. And there's one point in it where it says, well, I've got, it's something about, well, I don't even know my own lyrics. I've got wounds and I've got two, losing me and losing you. And that really was
coming up in the
what I
middle.
was proud of. And then the other thing too is that Oh yes, I am coming to see you, Raya. That's for sure. I am coming to London for you. So Tovah's actually from London as well. So I remember at one point when Tovah was just starting to get, we had gotten the diagnosis. I was kind of an asshole, really. I sent Raya this, and I was like, "Oh, this is a song that helps me kind of get through some of the stuff with my grandma." And then I sent it to her, and she got back to me, and she was just like, "Cory, you make me cry." So, but yeah, it's one of my fave songs. It's about my grandma, and I wanted to commemorate that. I think this whole album is just full of moments, like pinnacle moments up until now that have happened in my life, and I think that's what this really is, the whole thing.
Yeah, it like everything feels like it's paying homage to something very important, like all of these different, not all traumas, but just like all these different things you've maybe wanted to prove or disprove about yourself.
Sure.
But then also like relationships.
Also, like horrible relationships, exactly. Oh, by the way, this is also a TOV favorite, Diet Coke. So I mean, we're real on brand today.
I should have picked one up.
Well, that's your failure.
Yeah, that is really interesting too, though, because I didn't know that about Tovah, that she's from London. So it's interesting, just like that this song can really apply to so much.
Yeah, I think
makes it even more sad.
I forgot to mention. I know, right? The other thing I forgot to mention is that I released that song. I think it would have been May or June. I can't remember exactly, of 2020, and it was right when we were seeing the massive amounts of loss in the pandemic. People were dying at like such an incredible rate, and I thought, maybe this is something that could represent or help people during that time. So it was just. That was why I decided to put it out at that time. Right. We can move on, though, if you want to.
Let's do Unhappy. Another one of my faves that you don't give enough credit.
Yeah, this is not my favorite on the album, but a lot of people like it. So, okay.
We'll start it.
Let me know.
3, 2, 1, go. Also, I know you probably don't care that much about the video, but I really like just like you isolated walking throughout the city. Like, it's powerful. It's more powerful than you think.
Well, it's funny because I had these delusions of grandeur that I was going to create a documentary about myself to accompany this album. And I was recording footage for that when I was recording this song. And then when the time came that I was just going to release the song, I had all of this footage, and I was like, well, you know what? I can make a video out of this, because I had all the footage from Boy George performing there, and I was like, this could create a story of like me working in the studio to be sort of like achieving something, right? I think I wrote this song in like, I do not remember correctly when exactly, but I think it might have been as early as 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, like I think it's incredibly old. Like I think it's at least 2007. It was one of the, like I just wrote it because I was writing for fun. I always have my entire life. And then I sent the demo that I had made from 2007, because when Gavin and I started working together back in 2015, I sent him all of my stuff, which he filtered through and said, okay, this has potential, this doesn't, blah, blah, blah. And he had flagged this one as something that does have potential. He still has a ton of other ones that I need to get back to him on, actually. But I've always sort of been a fan of that demo, and then we evolved it, changed a lot of the lyrics, but I think the messaging's good. I think the reason that I'm not as connected to it is because I almost feel like it could come off as cheesy, and I feel weird about that. But I'm glad that it connects with people, and I'm glad that people like it, because, that's the intent of this, right? And I think the melody's beautiful.
Yeah, I love the melody. I love the instrumentation and like the melodies in the background and like the synth like arpeggios and stuff. And
yeah, we experimented a lot. We actually built this track from scratch together too. This was not anything. There were no loops pre-existing in this, so this was completely built from scratch. And thank you, Raya. I'll watch your documentary too. There won't be one, Raya, not until we can get a budget.
Not yet. Soon.
Yeah, exactly.
2025 by then. And I agree, Peter, Tina. Like, I think I don't see it as cheesy at all. I see it as very relatable, and it's not necessarily woe is me, like it's coming from a very relatable perspective too.
Right. Yeah. I think I also just have a problem with like being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So this is like kind of tough for me in a way, but
Yeah.
it was something that I thought too, like you can't release an album and give people only a selection of yourself, particularly your debut album. You have to like give people who you are and let them know. And I think if I edited that and didn't show that I'm an incredibly insecure person at times, then it's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Amen. Next one's
Maybe I'm
going.
insane?
Yeah.
12, 20.
Okay, so basically, it's funny. This recording of me talking to my phone was actually recorded at the end of 2019, not 2020. So I had no idea how much worse things could get. Because it was just such a tough year for me in 2019. I don't know, like I just was going through a lot mentally, and this was even before we found out about Tove. I think Tove, it was actually, maybe Tove had let us know that she was getting her bone marrow tests at the end of 2019. And that might have been part of it too, but I think just ultimately was going through a lot, and I recorded in my phone knowing that I might be able to use it for an interstitial. And there's always that worry that like when you record something like that it's going to sound planned or rehearsed. So I was just regularly recording myself stream of consciousness to hopefully get something eventually, and this was just one of those times where it worked out. And the separation of the talking in between the like musical effects is actually organic. We didn't like stretch that out or anything. That is actually the pace that I talked.
Yeah. No, I think it makes a lot of sense. I was actually going to ask you, like, if you were kind of like if there's a part of more of the documentary where you were, I mean, maybe it was, but I feel like it came off very natural. And I was kind of like, how did you do this? Like, how did you record this? Because like you said, it didn't feel forced at all. And a lot of times it would.
Yeah. Well, especially with me, you know me, if I get into it, I can like have a script and be like completely rehearsed, and it's awful. So it's important for it to be off the cuff and sort of natural. And I think we accomplished that. And literally the way I did it was just recording myself so frequently that eventually it just kind of wore off, and the novelty wasn't there anymore, and I could just be myself. So yeah, do we want to go into why do I even try?
Let's do it. 3.
And don't play little one afterwards because I have
I'm going to pause it.
Yeah. Okay.
I only let it go straight into the interstitials. 3, 2, 1, go. Do you want to tell everyone the fun fact about me in this song?
That you said it was my weakest song?
I said it was my least favorite. I didn't use the word weakest.
Right. I inferred that. Yeah, in terms of this song, there was one night where I was just so fucking frustrated about something, and I was like, why the hell do I even try? And then, the light bulb moment where you're just like, oh, well, this could be a song concept. And then I remember I wrote this probably in 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I would say. It was, the words just kind of flew out. And a perfect love, a perfect, I can never remember, blah, blah, blah. I can never remember my own lyrics.
Everyone listen to the song right now on your own.
Yeah. But it's just a representation of like how much we try so hard, and it's like, does it even really matter? Just live your life, and hopefully, things will work out. But like putting so much expectation and trying to be the perfect son and trying to be the perfect like employee and trying to be, it's so much, and it's like not.
It's impossible. It's literally impossible. So if you focus on it.
Exactly. So like you just have to let it go and let go and let God. Yeah. So that's kind of what this song is about, and it's just ultimate frustration. But I also thought that it would make a nice kind of like at the beginning of the record, I am saying like, well, what if it's not meant for me? And at the end, I'm like, I have that confidence to say, you know what? Why do we even try? I'm just doing my thing.
I think after everything, it feels very much like I definitely like it better in the concert than the album. Also, right after I told Cory that, because he dared me, he dared me to tell him my least favorite song.
Yes.
And right after I did that, it came on shuffle or something, and then it was stuck in my head, and I was like, after I said I didn't like, it wasn't my favorite, it was my least favorite, it's the only thing I've been singing. But I was just gonna say, yeah, it very much feels kind of like you've given up, but in a way that's freeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like fun. It's lighthearted. It's kind of Katy Perry-ish, you know? It gets you to dance. Kenny from the Q Reviews always tells me that this is like his driving song, which I can totally see. I would totally jump in if I knew how to drive. Totally get behind it, wheel and drive.
Yeah.
To this. Yeah, it's fun. I like it personally. I think it's even though you throw hate on it, I love it. So
I don't dislike it. It's also funny because when I listened to it again, I was like, no, because when I listened to it again, I was like, wait, why do I not like this? And for me, it was just the instrumentation in the chorus. I was like, it's too happy for me. I hate happy stuff.
You know what? It's rare that you get a happy from me, so savor it.
I know,
okay?
I'm savoring it. But also, I do really think it would fit like really well in like soundtracks for like, I said like amusement park. Like I want to go to the water park. It makes me want to go to the water park.
That's
or like ride on a roller coaster.
That's a good point. So the email I sent you, the first video I think is the one of TOV that I just want to play really quick. For those who weren't here in the beginning, we lost TOV, one of my very good friends, to stomach cancer, stage 4 stomach cancer in April of this year. I chose to call my album TOV because I wanted a name for my debut album that I would love forever, and Tovah is someone that I'll love forever. Whew. So this is just a video of Tovah talking about us for a second, and then we'll play a song that I wrote for her daughter, that her sister, I sent her sister. I actually wrote it the night before Tovah died, and her sister played it for her, and at that time Tovah couldn't speak. But Raya told me that Tovah smiled when she heard it, and she got to hear it before we lost her. Yeah. So anyway, this is Tovah, and it's just her talking about us for a second.
Okay, I'm starting it at 2 minutes, yes?
Yeah.
You know, say you graduated 2 years ago compared to 20 years ago compared to 10. It's just different stories. So it's good to understand where you're at.
Yeah, so I took a marketing program here in Toronto. So I moved from a smaller city to the big city, to Toronto.
Okay.
So huge change for me to adjust from that, not knowing anyone and doing all of that stuff. So really out of college, I mean, I just wanted to stay in the city. That was my priority, right? So the thing is that I got caught up in this position at a very large bank in Canada.
Interesting.
You know, I was doing retention straight out of college. So through college, I was a bank teller, and I had got basically a promotion, which was great. But I felt very stuck. And then at like year 5, I just remember, you know, kind of walking with one of my really close friends. We actually went to college together, and he was like, "You seem so unhappy." And I was like, I am unhappy, you know, like I don't want to go to work every day. It's not fun. It's not challenging. Like there was none of that.
And what were you doing at that time? You were working as a teller, or what were you doing?
No, then I was working in one of the head offices, like in the financial district. I was doing retention for large insurance policies.
Okay.
So like cool position, but probably only cool for like a couple years out of college, whereas I stayed there for 5 years and then just found like I didn't feel challenged. I didn't want to go to work in the morning, right? So he said, you know, Tove, you would be so good in sales. You're super outgoing, great personality. Like you should do it. I was super hesitant. And this is what I want to talk about is like, I feel that there is a really negative connotation around sales.
Yeah.
And that's really like, yes, I would love way more women in business.
Good. That's basically. So, spoiler alert, I was the one that she was talking about.
Yeah. We're ready. Y'all, I will say I have never made it through this song start to finish. I haven't. I can't. I'm tearing up just thinking about listening.
So basically, let me just go through it again one more time. Not everything, but just so that I can put it together. So essentially, I wrote this song for Tovah's daughter, Harper, as a way to kind of let her know about her mom, let her know when she gets old enough that she can come to me and I'll help her remember the things that she never knew. And me and the hundreds of other people who know her will fill in the blanks where she won't be able to anymore. So I'm not going to talk during this one. I think we'll just listen if that's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to mute my mic because I'll honestly probably cry. People don't need to hear us both crying until after. Okay, is everyone ready? In 3, 2, 1, go.
Little one, you should know the way she made us smile. Little one, you should know the love she spread for mine. Well, I'll help you to remember the things you never knew. She lives on in all of us, but most of all in you.
Yeah, she's gonna come right now. Okay. And I'm gonna be moved to PMH, and I want to just make sure that she can come there too.
Little one, she loves you. She's wanted you for years. Little one, I know you will have her with you, have her through your fears. And I'll help you to remember the things you never knew. She lives on in all of us, but especially in you. Little one,
Yeah, so it's an info one.
little one,
I don't know, nobody's nobody said that we don't have to record it necessarily. Where are you from? ICU. I think it's a cute one. Yeah, that's all I know.
little one, I can't tell you how many times we laughed. Little one, we were foolish, and you should be too. Little one, please laugh, and I hope you to remember what you never really knew. 'Cause she lives on in all of us, but most of all in you. Little one, 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 little one.
And then that's it. That's the album. You could hear Tovah's voice in there too.
Yeah, I
Throughout
love
it.
it. That's literally the first time I haven't cried, just because people are watching. And I was
Well-
raised in a society where boys don't cry, so you will
Well, there
understand.
you go. I mean, but no, and that was actually the demo vocals from the night that I didn't want to touch them. I didn't want to re-record the song. I wanted, first of all, because I doubt I could get through it. That was when she was still alive and I was singing that. But after, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I could even ever perform that song. But I didn't want to re-record it because I felt the emotion in the vocals and the way that it was sang and everything was 100% authentically what it was, and you could feel that, I think, in the actual song. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
There's another video, yes, tied to this, the Instagram thing.
Yes, if you want to see, this is kind of cute. So her
It's so cute.
daughter is
And sad again.
Pardon?
I said it's so cute and sad again.
Yeah, well, this is her daughter listening to it for the first time just this Friday. Her grandma and Tovah's husband sent it to me, and they said I could share it. So if you want to pull it up and people can see, I don't know if
Let's
Raya's
do it.
still here. We might have lost her in the war of
No,
1978.
Raya said she was one of the people that told us we were back on.
Okay, good.
We're here.
She's probably...
Also, PP, I'm not sure what you mean. Long ago. What was long ago? Okay, let me show this on the screen. It's so
I just think
cute.
it's so precious, and she's so adorable. She has Tovah's eyes completely. Like, it's insane. You look at her, the mannerisms and like some of the ways that she reacts to things, and like almost looks at you like you're full of shit sometimes. It's like, it totally reminds me of Tovah.
I'm playing it, by the way. It just starts itself, so.
Oh, awesome.
But she's so freaking cute.
Oh, she's adorable.
And she looks like she's vibing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make a... What is she, 1.5 now? Something like that? Interested in something, but maybe she's 2 now. No, I think she's like 1.5. Anyway, but yeah, it was just amazing to see her kind of hearing it for the first time, and I think it'll mean more to her, hopefully, when she gets older.
Yeah.
But it was just really beautiful. I'm surprised her mom Sandra, or her grandma Sandra, was even able to hold up the phone while she was filming this, because like I would be an absolute wreck if I was watching it.
Very relatable. The power of Jesus was working through those arms that day.
She will be 2 in June. Okay.
2 in June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hopefully
yeah.
we'll be able to have a birthday party for her. Power wash that vaccine into my veins. That's all I'm saying.
Spray
Make it happen.
all over and in me. I'd like to take a bath in it,
I want
please.
it in every orifice as soon as possible.
In and out.
But that's the album. That's Tove. So I really... Raya said, my mom said she stayed so close to the computer and mom bawled. Oh, that's beautiful. She's such a sweetie.
Yeah. That's an amazing album. It's an amazing album.
Thank you.
Like start to finish. Like when I listened to it the second time, I was just like blown away. Like the first time, maybe because I was also just like getting into I was still kind of like everything was new.
Yeah.
The first time. So then the second time I listened through and it all like hit even more. It's just perfect pacing. It's like what I told you, like so many albums will like fall off in the middle. And I feel like that's maybe even the strongest part of this is like the middle part. And then you just keep it going.
Yeah, someone said to me, thank you, by the way, that's really kind. Someone said to me that the second part of the album is the better half. And I was like, oh, really? Because I kind of like the beginning and then I like the very end of the album, but some of the middle parts. But I'm happy to hear that. That makes me so pleased. And I'm so pleased that so many people like it and are responding to it like that. Is like a wave of relief, because you're always like worried that people are gonna be like, oh my god, this is so shit. And
especially after the years you've worked on this, like this is not
and also the fact that Tovah's name's on it, like I don't want people to be like, that's a horrible album, and poor Tove has to be stuck with it. So I'm just happy that it was a happy circumstance for everything, and everything worked out so well. But I so appreciate you doing this and letting me be so self-indulgent for however long we've been doing this now.
It wasn't even that long. A little over an hour.
No, it was like, yeah.
But no, of course. Like, and thank you for getting me dinner. I did not expect nor need it, but I very much appreciated it.
You expected it.
I didn't. I really didn't. No, I really didn't. 100% didn't. I mean, I didn't expect it the first time. I didn't expect it this time.
Good. Well, I'm happy you enjoyed.
You're not a person I need money from to collab with. So...
well, that's sweet.
It's the biggest compliment I can give.
Yeah, really. I thank everyone for coming and sticking it out. Raya, it means the world that you were here. I'm glad we got to do this together.
Yes, it was so nice to meet you too. Because I've heard so much about Tove and you and everyone. So it was great to meet you, even if only through text or whatever.
Yeah. And Tina, thank you so much for coming, and Tosh and Peter. And
yeah, there's a lot of people here. E. Alvin was here. Jolie's here. Jay Baby was here earlier. Michelle was here.
So many great people.
Faye,
so I really appreciate it.
So many people.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I can kick you off now if you want, and you can go to bed.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go just recuperate. To be
Yeah,
honest,
no,
It's
take a
been
night,
great.
relax.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot for a while getting through the album and just the releasing music is hard enough already. Releasing something
Totally
that's this
is.
personal and powerful, and then you have to talk about it over and over and do interviews and
Yeah. Love you too, Raya. Cool. Well, thank you again so much, and I'll talk to you probably tomorrow.
Yeah. I had a great
Okay.
time. Thank you for jumping on. Bye, Cory.
Thank you so much for doing it. Okay, bye.
Bye.